We are back in our second segment of the day, and guess what May is? May is what there, Casey?
May is National Barbecue Month.
Oh my goodness.
And did you know that the
mean?
word barbecue comes from the Spanish word barbacoa?
Barbacoa.
Barbacoa.
Wow, that does sound kind of Spanish.
When the Europeans first came to the Americas, they saw the natives cooking large chunks of meat over a wooden frame that was suspended over a fire.
Yeah.
And they learned to cook from that, and that's where barbecue came from. And then later on, the slaves were given sometimes chunks of meat, and they were less than tender. And they found out that, if they cooked it over fire for a long period of time, that it would become tender. And then all of a sudden one day it became vogue to be eating barbecue, and everybody wanted barbecue. And some of the very first barbecue stands that you ever saw in the South were roadside vendors that were run by black people.
Yeah, there was. Well, I wonder when barbecue sauce was introduced.
I'm not really sure about that.
Probably ate it right off the grill, off the fire for the longest, and then eventually did that. But
and barbecue sauce is a real stickler for a lot of people.
That's a serious
people
subject there. They'll fight about it.
They'll argue about it, and
it's regionally
exactly.
Different.
And some people think that theirs is best. And me personally, I'd just soon not have sauce on mine.
At all, just right off the grill.
Oh man,
really?
I love barbecued ribs without any sauce. I like to put a rub on there before I cook them.
Yeah, you need some kind of little flavor in there.
And let's
bit.
clear up that point that a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of difference between barbecuing and grilling. They're two totally different things.
That's right.
Grilling is cooking things fast over a high heat, like hot dogs, hamburgers, steaks.
That's right.
Certain things like that. When you're cooking large primal cuts, ribs, pork butts, briskets, beef ribs,
right,
you have to cook them what they call low and slow.
Low and slow.
Temperatures
That's right.
that are usually below 300 degrees, all the way down to probably 225. I usually try to cook about 225. And the longer you cook them, it starts to break down the collagen and the connective tissue, renders out the fat, and turns an otherwise tough piece of meat into something that's just tender as a mother's love. And that's when it just gets really good. But
you can't just throw ribs on the grill and try to cook them real fast with a lot of high heat.
Tougher than wet leather.
You're ruining them, and a lot of people don't know that if you're going to use barbecue sauce or anything, a lot of people throw the meat on there and just start putting the barbecue sauce on it right then.
No.
You do that at the very end if you're going to do it at all.
Yeah, that sugar in there will burn.
Oh, you ain't kidding. You'll be fighting the fire the whole time.
You'll have a...
It's worse than grease dripping. It's as bad as grease.
A meteorite. And probably taste about like what a meteorite
M-E-A-T.
Yeah,
meteorite. Well, I think we just coined the word here.
Yeah, meteorites.
Meteorite. When we go camping, once in a while we'll do ribs, but we'll cook them low and slow. You have a fire here to set around at night, and you have a separate area for your coals, and you just keep shoveling the coals off as they gather up there, and you get a shovel full at a time, and you just keep spreading them nice and thin, and keep your meat on there, and cook it low and slow, and it can take you an hour or two, easily.
I have some very fond memories of barbecue because the only time we used to really do it would be for larger family gatherings.
Right, because you
for
want a lot of meat.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, other holidays, and we'd usually go out in the woods to do it, and we would build two fires.
Right.
And we'd let that first fire burn down. That's when we'd barbecue. And we didn't even use a grill. We would take an axe and start a slit in the ground and stick a cabbage stalk.
Cabbage stalk, yeah.
And hang those ribs from that cabbage stalk.
Oh, man.
Facing that fire. And then after a while, you'd turn it to where the other side faced the fire. And I can remember just like it was yesterday, sitting there watching those ribs as they'd change colors. Because you could see it then, as opposed to when you got them on a grill, you don't really see that reaction.
Right.
Because it's hidden from you. It's it's facing down. The way we were doing it, if you're sitting on the opposite side of the fire from what the meat was cooking, you could sit there and watch that reaction of the meat, and it'd start,
Watch it
turning
sizzle
color
a little bit.
Oh yeah, and that grease
Uh-huh.
would be dripping down, falling off, and I don't know. I just start salivating.
That's better than any TV show on right now if you want to watch something.
But it was, I often wish, and I guess I could go back and recreate that same thing. I mean, later on we graduated from that.
Oh yeah.
And we started taking our own. We started cooking basically the same way, but instead of having them hanging like that, we started having a metal grill, and that was suspended over the fire with metal stakes we drove in the ground.
Right.
And then we'd take these old sheets of worn out barn
tin,
and we'd put that around the fire to contain that
the heat
and the smoke and
keep the wind off of it.
And that was some good days.
Well, you were very trusting, though. Those palmetto stalks didn't fall over into the fire. And I'm sure it did every now and then.
No, we made sure they were. It was a little science to it. You had to make sure you got it in and get a heavy duty one. I mean,
right, a green one.
Green is a gourd.
Then you probably stick it through somewhere towards the middle of the ribs. You don't want it on the end there where it come off.
Yeah, not on the very end, but yeah, you did.
Towards the middle,
But we were on. The ribs got two ends. One's a meaty end,
right,
with a bigger, thicker,
exactly,
and the other one's like a little.
That's the good stuff. That's the flavoring.
Yeah, but you you stuck it through that thicker, meatier side because that's what would really hold up.
Right between the bones.
Yeah, exactly. But you'd take that axe and chop a little hole there. But you had to get that just right, or it'd slide down that thing. So a little bit of a art to it. But
you were talking about tradition and all, and you can still do that. You should do that with your grandkids one time.
We should
get them all together and say, "This is how me and you and your dad and you and your grandfather, whoever used to do it."
Your great grandfather.
That's right.
Do it.
That's how it was done, and take some pictures. A little taste of yesterday. This is how we should do it old school.
I'm sure most people that were raised in DeSoto County have at least cooked hot dogs over a fire using palmetto fronds as your skewers.
That's right. And hoping nothing came down.
Wonderful skewers.
You don't know what all peed on that thing. If you're camping and you're cutting some, you go deep into the palmetto patch. You don't get the ones around the edge.
Yeah.
Somebody might have watered the palmetto patch.
And I trimmed them pretty good.
Oh, trim them pretty good? Because you definitely want to get them little thorns off the side.
Oh, yeah. That's the first thing you want to do.
Yeah, them things will bite you.
They would.
But do you like your barbecue better than other restaurants, or do you have a favorite restaurant where you think it's the best?
No, I personally love my own. There's some others that I like. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I eat others sometimes is because it's a process.
Oh, it is.
It's not just
a labor of love.
Yeah, it's not all of a sudden sit down and, let's have barbecue tonight, because, it's
right.
The way we do it, it takes sometimes briskets and pork butts 10, 11, 12 hours. Ribs are usually 4 or 5 hours. So, it's not something you just do. It's usually a process, and usually saved for some special occasion.
Right.
But the special occasion this month is the fact that it's National Barbecue Month. So
that's right.
You know what I hadn't had in a long time?
What's that?
Barbecued beef ribs. It's like having a steak on a stick.
That's right. Instead of little pork ribs.
Oh, man, they're good.
They give you a lot more to gnaw on.
Yeah, I might have to cook some of those this week.
You done got me hungry just thinking about it. My daughter fixed ribs yesterday, but we had a homecoming and dinner on the ground, so I ate there instead. But I got some leftover ribs for tonight. I don't know how she cooked them, but they're going to be good. But we down to 30 seconds, and I'm hungry for barbecue, just thinking about it and talking about it. So we're going to back on out of here, and we'll be back in a short, and we'll come up with something else to talk about.
In 30 minutes? 30 seconds. 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Less than that. We'll be back.